Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to Live at 5. And if you're visiting today, just popping in, I would love to hear a hello from you. I'm coming to you from Wichita Falls, Texas, which is where I was born and spent a good something like 27 years of my life before I started being the traveler and finding different places to go, be, live, and so forth. So I hope you're all having a great day. We're going to be sharing some fun things with you today. I'm not going to spend a long time today. I'm with family. I do have a special treat for you. I'm about to introduce you to my mom, who just had her 94th birthday yesterday. So great to see the hearts coming in. If anybody wants to say a hello from Florida, or hello from the UK, or hello from Colorado, or California, or Utah, or South Carolina, or wherever you're from, it'd be great to see you. San Diego, California. Susie, you and I have been chatting today. That's great to see you. Thank you so much. Great to see you very, very, very much. So we're going to be talking about photography today. It's again, hey Hugo from Wichita Falls, just in the other part of this very house. That's funny. Yeah, don't dare come in here and see us right now because we're busy. Yeah, we had a little drive. We stopped in Amarillo yesterday for the night. We can do this drive in a day, but when we leave in the middle of the day, it's just easier to stop halfway. Barbara from Shreveport, it's great to see you. That's not terribly far away from Wichita Falls. And we ended up spending the night in Amarillo, but we ate at the Big Texan Steak Ranch. And if anybody knows that, it is truly a historical stop on Route 66. It is really crazy and wonderful. So Monica from Missouri in the Ozarks, just letting you know that Hugo and I are staking a claim down near Branson West, and we'll see how that plays out as time goes on in the future. But you guys, since many of you are here, I've got a great surprise. I've come down to Texas, where I was born and raised, Wichita Falls, Texas, to visit my mom, who yesterday turned 94 years old, and here she is. Look at this is 94, you guys. All right, this needs to be like woo. So how you feeling?
I feel great.
So I'm gonna have you tell everybody what you did on your 94th birthday. You guys, you're gonna be put to shame. Get ready.
I walked 1 mile,
She walked a mile.
in front of my 94th birthday.
How many of you walked a mile yesterday? Right. So the story is, mom, she lives really close to the church where we grew up, and they have an senior exercise program, and they also have a track. And how many laps?
20 laps around the track is 1 mile.
So she does the laps around the track, and she walks with a walker because it gives her comfort and stability. But nonetheless, she does it, and so she's been trying to do that once a week. And you've been
Once a week, I walk a mile. Now, some days sometimes when I don't feel real well, I don't make the whole mile, but I've always made at least 3/4 of a mile.
That's awesome.
I'm back to a mile now.
Isn't that impressive? So we've got some we've got some happy birthdays coming in, and oh, I look like my mom. Yeah, mom, our hair is exactly the same. It couldn't be any. And mama, you're all that. Fortunately, my mother shaves, so she doesn't have all this like I do, right? Anyway, so we're going to be talking about my photo class, and I asked her to come over, but she had a message that she wants to send to all of you before I start in on my little lesson for the day. So, what do you want to tell them?
Tell them to sign up for your Photoshop.
Yeah, for my photo class. Yeah, she wants you to sign up because Meemaw said so. It's time to go in there and put down your registration and join me for 2024. So
that's right.
All right. So thank you for.
All right. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you, and everybody have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Mom. So today I want to talk a little bit about, again, it's about photography, and I'm doing these little sessions to try to just help you understand my teaching style, some of the things, and the things that I'm teaching are just tips and tricks. These are not the meat and potatoes of my class, but it's certainly things that I think that you will enjoy. I want to remind everybody that I only have 3 more days for you to sign up at the $169, 72% off early bird price. And you can do that at photoclassforyou.com right there. And that class is, I just think it's life changing. So that's why I'm hammering so hard. This is my 10th anniversary year to do this class. And I really just want to have such a fabulous group of people. Not only will you learn your camera techniques, not only will you learn Lightroom and Photoshop, not only will you spend time learning about composition, but you'll also join a family of people from all over the world, and you will get to know them and you will get to spend time with me. The most important thing I would say right up at the front, other than all of what I just said, is that the lessons are not live. You do not have to sit in front of your computer at a specific time. I record the lessons. The lessons then roll out on Sunday mornings. You can watch any time through the week to do your lesson, to do your challenge, and then post your assignment. And so it's something that you can manage, something that is bite-sized. It does not take a lot of time, but it is life-changing. So please sign up, share with your friends, tell everybody, do it with a friend. Get a friend to do this with you. Part 1 is 26 weeks, and that's what's registering right now. And you can do that at letsquilttogether.com right there, okay? So I'm going to share my screen. I want to pop over and share some things with you. So let me get over here, and I'm going to just pop into a situation where I want to say evaluate your lighting situation. A lot of the times whenever we have our cameras and we see something we like, one of the things that we are not aware of is the lighting. And our lighting situation can come in at many different angles, and I'm going to show you some pictures of different lighting situations. But when a scene that you're looking at has basically equal really light areas and really dark areas, the camera struggles to know what to do. The auto exposure, which is on your camera, whether it's your big boy, big girl point and shoot, or whether it's even your smartphone, those may expose for the light area. And when it does, the darker area is going to be dark. And I'll show you some examples of this, but our camera is very much like our eye. When we walk into a really dark room, it takes a while, but our iris will open and open and open to start really letting the light come in so we can kind of see in the dark, so to speak. But if you were to immediately, oh, I forgot, I can't do that. Can't do those gestures. I get the balloon bubbles. But when we immediately then turn around and walk out a door into the sunshine, our eye is shocked with the light. And then the iris tries to close because everything is really bright. Our camera basically does the same thing. So in this particular scene, we have half dark and half light. And the camera is trying to expose for the room. So we see the chair, the floor, the candle. And because it has opened up to show that, then the bright light in the outside is overexposed. And if we do just the opposite, if the camera chooses or we force it to expose the outside so we see the hills, the mountains, the clouds, and all of those things that are really out there, now you can see how dark it is on the inside. This becomes a real problem when you're dealing with a point and shoot where you don't know how to get it exposed so that you can see both. There are tips, tricks, and things that we can do both in Lightroom and in Photoshop and even with our cameras to make a better exposure. One of the things that you've got on your smartphones that you may not have known about, and it's called the AEAF lock. That is automatic exposure, automatic focus. If you hold your camera up to a scene of any kind and just hold your finger where you want the camera to adjust, it will focus on that spot and it will then expose for that spot, and you are taking control. So if you were to hold it up to a window like I just showed you and it was overexposed, you could place your finger on that window and it would then expose the outside better, and it will stay focused on that until you move your camera. So that's a really fun thing to do, called the AEAF lock. If you've got a recent Android or iPhone, this is something that you're going to be able to do. The angle of light, when we're looking at the scene, I can tell you when I saw what was ahead of me, I did not see three ladies, okay? I saw the shadows. And I wanted to frame this to capture that. And this is happening because of the angle of light that I saw. Shadows make beautiful subjects. And this is even a situation where the light source is off and up to our left, a little bit beyond, which means that we're getting the hair light, the halo glow around their hair. And so I see these things. This is what causes me to raise my camera. Then I have to frame it and make it look. So I know you've heard people say never shoot into the light because it will just blow everything out. Well, let's just see how that works. I can tell you that I'm shooting directly into the sunshine, and I know that Katie is kind of in silhouette, but if you squint, look at that halo of hair light that is all around that sweet pup. I just really love that. So just because they say don't do it, that's kind of like the temptation to say, yes, let's do it. And in this case, I'm shooting towards the sunset, which is where the light is coming from. And look at this beautiful silhouette that's created. And of course, the clouds are very much a part of what this scene is all about. I talked a little bit about that extreme exposure. This is a case where I just want to see enough of the silhouette of the tree on the right, just enough of everything that's going up the bottom, and all of that glorious sky that's in the image. It's all intentional. I cannot tell you how much I will preach, shoot with intent and purpose. And the more you know and the more we study together, the more you're going to be able to start seeing what really works. Side light. This is beautiful. It creates shadows. The side light looks warm. Coming in from the side is beautiful. And this is also side light coming in, actually coming in from the left, hitting on what would be our left side, their cheeks. It's their right cheeks, but we're seeing it hit on the left. And that is just a really, really beautiful picture. I talked in the last session about turning off your flash. Flash is harsh. Flash is, it's not that you should never shoot with flash, but I'm telling you 90% of the time, no flash. If you can hold the camera still, it's going to be better. And our phones are to the point now where you can really do some amazing things. And of course, if you have a big boy, big girl camera, you can do even more things. I'm going to go through some pictures just very quickly. These are not beautiful at all. This was just me showing you how one subject at the exact same time, this is all within maybe 90 seconds, can look different depending on where I'm walking around the table and how the light source is hitting that same subject. And so if you pay attention to your light, you're going to get some really, really fun things. Now, I took this picture of this aloe, so it's sitting there on the table. Here it is in the window. It's turned into silhouette. Here it is. There's a lot of distractions in the background, and I still can't see the stem. Get the distractions out of the way. This was okay, but I don't like the angle. Don't like this angle. I like this a little better, but still I'm looking down. I liked this one so much better. I got lower. I was able to get it framed. And then even when I look at this one, I still see that there's a problem in here. And that problem is that little, well, so I've done some editing, so bringing out the details. But that problem is that little guy on the right. I find that to be a distraction. You'll find that I talk a lot about distractions. But the good thing about this photo is because it's not a big distraction, just keep watching at the arrow. Boom, I can take it out. With just a stroke, we've got the technology and the ability to clone that out, to get rid of that, and to make this photo be so much more than just the gastro aloe that was sitting on the table earlier. All right, there's several things about the camera that I want you to remember, and that there are things in the camera. There's the lens, the aperture, the shutter, the sensor. All of these different things are what we use to end up taking our picture. And I call it the lighting trifecta, when aperture, shutter, and ISO, or the sensor sensitivity, when they all come together. Now, this is way too big of a topic for me to share with you in just a small live video, but it's something that I want you to know that we cover. We try to really understand the physics of camera, how it works, and how to make these things work in tandem so that you really get a really good image. And when they're not, in an image, there can be problems. Now, this image is sharp. It's in focus. I know it's small in the screen, but it's because I want to share with you some terminology. This is sharp. It's in focus. We see the details. We see the nuance. This is not out of focus. This image was in focus, but the shutter was open long enough and the camera moved. I might have been holding it with my hand. If my hands move, even if I have it in focus, this will blur or be camera shake. This is out of focus. This means that I don't have the focus position in the right spot, which means that it will be blurry. And then there's another option, which is wonderful. And this is when you're going beyond camera shake and you're forcing the camera to move, you can create some magical and wonderful things with that. Of course, it all comes together with that lighting trifecta of understanding how the shutter speed, the aperture, and the ISO all work together. So selective focus is a situation where you get this depth of field and a larger aperture, which we will learn and talk about, allows you to have a shallow depth of field. And I want to show you some pictures. Here's just a remote control laying on one of my quilts. And the very top of this image, it's a little bit soft. It's a little bit out of focus. But overall, we really focus on both the remote control and on the quilting that's in this. But I can really emphasize the remote control by getting it sharp and in focus and blurring the background. And now the quilt is not so much the subject. There's beautiful color, but the subject really is the remote control and the details that are on that. Taking control of what you want the photo to do is one of those things that I love sharing with you. So we have a long depth of field on the left. We have a shallow depth of field on the right. Again, these are just all terminology, things that you learn second, that become second nature. But right now they just may, oh, that's what you call it. Oh, I knew I've seen that in movies before. Well, this is what you can do if you want to take control. Now, another thing I like to talk about is dominance. And just because something is small doesn't mean that it won't dominate. This is a wonderful mural of Chipeta, who is the Ure was the Ute chief, and this is his wife, Chipeta. A mural in Walsenburg, Colorado. I think it's beautiful. But that's me standing there, on her shoulder or at her shoulder, and you can really get a sense of scale because I'm small in the frame. And just because it's small doesn't mean it can't be a good composition. I really love the way this pool, the grass, the fence, the painting, the white fence, and then the action of Hugo throwing the ball. And then, of course, there's the little Scotty dog down in the bottom as well. So having fun with the composition. This is, I feel like this is like Westward Ho. And Hugo and Cordelia were up on one of the rock outcroppings, and just putting them small in the frame and showing the vastness of the sky. It's one of those things that gives a total different feeling than if I was trying to take a portrait of the two of them. I love pointing, by the way. It's one of those things that I just think is interesting. I shared this photo in another talk that I did, and this figure, it took a while for that figure to get there. I don't know who the person was, but I saw it happening, and then it was a real joy that this figure ended up pointing whenever they got to the very top. Action shots, I can tell you there's many times when I would rather just catch the action than to have anybody pose for me. So here's a great situation where Susan and Hugo were at the Japanese tea garden in San Francisco. They're sharing a cup of tea. The garden is back there in the back. They're slightly in silhouette, but I really love the interaction between the two of them versus, okay, here we are in the garden, turn around, look at the camera, and pose for me. Again, catching the action while it's happening is really, really something that's fun. Now, this was set up. This was planned. It was planned for Macy to jump in the air while Keegan was doing his magic, power. And we had to catch it just at the right moment, but I think it's a fun shot. Black and white photography. I just love black and white photography and the story that it tells. I'm not going to tell you the full story of what's transpiring here, but you can make up your mind that there's some emotion going on in this photo. And of course, here's yours truly in black and white. And this is using one of the special options on the iPhone. So this was taken with an iPhone, and I was not standing in a black background, but that's one of the options that you get in portrait mode. Here's Macy on the rock. I love black and white photography. It is timeless. It is classic. I absolutely love it. I see CB asking if the class is for beginners, and it is 100% for everybody. If you're a photo enthusiast, if you're a beginner, I start at the very basics and I cover everything. But again, it's bite size. It's not we're going to learn it all in a week or two. It's a 52-week class. It's my 10th anniversary. You can register and get all of the details. Just go read more about it at photoclassforyou.com. This is my dad in black and white. This is checking out at the grocery store during COVID. I thought it really told a story, and black and white really emphasized things more than the color. The last thing I want to talk to you about today is the zoom lens. This is kind of fun for me because we love our zoom lens. And why do we use them? We use them because we want to get closer to what we see, but maybe we can't get there, or maybe we're too lazy to go there. But there's two ways to do zooming. One is called optical zoom, and the other one is called digital zoom. The optical zoom is actually taking the lens and actually allowing it to get closer. A digital zoom is going to zoom in, but the computer is going to fill in the gaps. So the optical zoom is a better zoom. Digital has improved, but it is not the best because the optical zoom is going to get you close. There's no digital zoom. It captures the actual image, and it is the best quality possible. It's sharp, it's clear, but the digital zoom, okay, it's a technology that magnifies the area, and the computer has to fill in the gaps, and it compromises the integrity of the image. Your smartphone is a digital zoom. It does not have a telescoping, zoom that comes out. It is 100% digital, so therefore it interprets and it creates the pixels that we're seeing, and it's not nearly as good. I know these are all words, and I'm going fast because I've got pictures to show you what I actually mean. It's not going to be as sharp, and it's not going to be clear as an optical. So this is an image of a rabbit with no zoom. Okay, whatever that is, there's no zoom. But this is a 10 times optical zoom. And remember, I told you that's the good one. So this is 10 times optical zoom. And now look at 10 times digital zoom, and you can see that there is a great difference in the quality. It's the same amount of magnification, but the optical zoom is going to give you a better picture than the digital zoom will do. Here's another example. I am standing where I am standing, where I'm actually shooting this picture. And you can see I'm kind of far from that glass piece of art that's on the counter in the back there. Here is 5 times digital zoom. So I have used my camera and zoomed 5 times forward. And here is my position. I've stepped back even further, okay, back even further. And now I'm going 10 times digital. And you go, wow, Ricky, that doesn't look bad at all. That's pretty darn good for a smartphone. And you're right, it is pretty darn good. But now let's do some comparison. Here I am. I've walked right up to that glass. I have taken that composition with no zoom. No zoom, but look how clear it is. And if we put those side by side, look at the no zoom on the left. The middle is 5 times zoom. It's starting to get a little yucky and grainy, and look at the painting on the wall. And then the 10 times zoom, we've lost some color. It's grainy, and the painting on the wall is just really not clear at all. So this is kind of proof in the pudding that we can use our zooms on our smartphones, but we are going to lose quality. So you have to know, am I okay with losing that quality because I need to get the moment and I want to get closer? Or do you want to just walk closer and not zoom so much? So Look at these again. There's the straight on, no zoom. This is 5 times zoom. Look at the kind of the texture, we call it graininess. And on this one, it's really, really quite grainy. It's just a really surprise when you see all of that. So the best digital zoom lens that you can have with you is your feet. And that just means walk closer. Get closer to the subject. Here's another example. I am standing right here and I'm going to zoom in on that raven quilt. And 12 times on that hybrid digital / optical zoom on the left versus walking up to that picture and actually not zooming at all. And you can see the difference in the quality. Just look at the texture and then look at this one at how much the thread details and everything. So yes, you can zoom, and yes, many times you will, but you need to know what you're sacrificing when you do that. This is a picture of our little entry stone at my house. I'm standing there taking this picture, all right? Now, and this, on the first one, I zoomed. On the second one, I walked over there. And you can see a huge difference in the quality of those photos. Here's the one that was zoomed, and here's the one where I walked up there. Okay, so those are the things I wanted to share with you today, just to kind of give you some tips and tricks on what I think makes good photography. I hope that you're enjoying spending this time with me. I am just sharing with you that I am doing my photoclassforyou.com. This guy right here, right there. Okay, finally found it. Photoclassforyou.com, my online photography class. This is the final 3 days for 72% off. It's $169. It will turn to 50% off, which will be $299. And then near the end of this month, it will be $599. So I'm urging you, if you're even remotely interested, please pop in. I think that it will be life-changing for you, inspirational for you. I urge you to do it with a friend. And no matter where you are in the world, you can do this, because I don't come to you live. I come to you through a video that you can watch at your own convenience. Mr. Johnny Zeller, it's good to see you, and hope I get to see you before we depart Wichita Falls. I see that you're here. All right, you guys, I'm going to spend some time with my mom. Thank you so much for saying hello to her and wishing her a happy birthday. 94 is not bad, and walking a mile on your 94th birthday has got to be a real cause to celebrate. So I really appreciate your enthusiasm for her. And may all of you have the rest of this day as wonderful and blessed as you can be. And tomorrow I will try to be back. I will make an announcement about that. Look on Facebook or YouTube. Whether or not I can be with you tomorrow, I'm not 100% sure. But because there's only 3 days left, I want to spend time with you. So I look forward to seeing you register for class. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones. You can be in any level of experience. You just got to have the right gear, and all of that is listed at photoclassforyou.com on my 52-week photo challenge class. 52-week photo challenge class, and I look forward to seeing you guys. All right, everybody, thanks for spending time with me today. Coming to you from Texas, and I'll be here for a couple more days.